This is Sierra Isaac, and you are listening to People Finding God podcast. I'm glad you're here. Okay, welcome back. So excited to be here today. This is my favorite day of the week that I get to bring guests on. I have Ellie Anderson with me today. She's the best. She is in our neighborhood, and they were in my church ward for a time, and I feel like I got to know Ellie more personally and just know she has a great story. And I asked her, and she was excited to come on, and so she's here today with us. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about yourself, Ellie.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name's Ellie Anderson. I'm a senior at San Clemente High School. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I am very into sports. I play tennis and basketball and track. I would say that's my main gig. And then I've moved around a lot, but I've been in San Clemente for the last 5 years.
Out of all the places you've lived, how do you feel about San Clemente?
By far the best. I mean,
Where have you lived? Tell us some places you've lived.
Yes. So I was born in Utah. Then I went to California, but more Inland Empire area, Eastvale-ish. And then I was in Texas near Dallas. And then I was in Arizona, Gilbert area. And then I came back, Rancho Mission Viejo, and then came to San Clemente for high school.
Okay. So you've moved around. We've moved around too. You and I have kind of moved similarly. We lived in Gilbert, Arizona for a time. What part of Utah did you live in?
I was born in Cedar City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty area.
Yeah. And then I was in St. George for a minute too, actually, I think.
St. George is so pretty. It's so big now going through it. When you probably were there, it was probably small, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So you've had to really find your place every time you move.
For sure.
My kids say the same thing. They're like, you know what? Meeting new people, you get good at meeting new people. You get good at being the new person. It's hard being the new person.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
It is hard.
But you know what? It's almost do you feel like having all those experiences of moving and being the new person, now that you're moving away and moving on to your life, do you feel like that's a little easier now for you?
Absolutely. I feel so prepared. It's not as scary. It doesn't make me as nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how my kids have felt too. Okay, so tell us where you want to start with your story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we just go from from the very beginning.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, so I was born into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or better known as Mormons, and my family was always really strong in it. I'm the oldest of 4. But yeah, growing up, it was honestly awesome. I had a super strong testimony. I'm a perfectionist for sure, really hardcore. So I was really into always reading my scriptures and always praying. And I loved it. I never had a time where I didn't love the gospel, or I would say have a disconnect from God or anything like that. I would say my story started in high school for sure, kind of more when it got intense. So freshman and sophomore year, I was totally good. I had the best girl guy friend group, totally in flow state with all that. And I was fine, and I was doing tennis and basketball and doing well in both. And I just thought it was the best. I thought high school was the best thing in the world, and I had no idea the bad things that could happen. But my junior...
And you were in San Clemente, right?
I was in San Clemente for all of high school.
Oh, because you were here for 5 years. Okay.
Yes. So my junior year... Well, I'm going to back up even more than that. So the end of my sophomore year, I got sick just out of nowhere. And it was so random, but my mouth, all of a sudden, I woke up one morning and my lips were just huge. Looked like I had gotten massive amounts of lip filler, the craziest thing. It was seriously insane.
And it was from the night to morning, the morning you woke up with those lips.
Just woke up with these lips, huge. Insane. And I was like, oh, this is so funny. And I didn't feel sick. I was just this is so weird, what's going on. And then throughout the day, I went to school, and then I was in my classes, and I'm just shivering. And I'm everyone else is fine. And I'm what's going on? I'm shivering, turning blue. My lips are massive. I was what is going on? And as the day progressed, I started getting these little blisters in my mouth, which is so gross to talk about. But you have to understand, it was blisters all over my mouth. So all inside my cheeks, under my tongue, down my throat. And there were just these blisters. And then, I slept on it. We didn't know what to do. We were oh, whatever.
And you hadn't had any other sicknesses until now? Anything that would have resembled that before?
No, not at all. Nothing crazy. Just the flu.
Normal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was insane. And my parents didn't know what to do. I'm the oldest child. We're all clueless.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next day the blisters popped, right? So now I have these big open sores and it's starting to swell. And I'm like freaking out. My lips are still huge. I'm still going to school though, because I don't know what to do. And I just, middle of school, I'm shivering. My mouth is like exploding. I can't talk. Like there's just like, it's just crazy. Whatever is going on is just crazy. And so I call my mom and we go to the ER. We're like freaking out. I'm starting to feel like I can't breathe a little bit because my throat, the blisters are down my throat and like down my like tongue and like everything. And it's like swelling up. And we get there and they've never seen this before. Craziest, they've never seen this before. And they just send me home with, I think, antibiotics. And they're like, just rest. And I'm like, awesome. So I'm taking these antibiotics, I'm resting, I'm at home, and it is just getting worse. And all of a sudden, I can't put any food down because it just burns. And then it was getting too tight and I couldn't put water down, right? So I'm like, I don't know what to do. And we ended up having a nice guy from our ward come over. He's a doctor, and he gave me an IV. So I was able to get, my like vitamins and nutrients for the day and everything like that. And no one knew what to do. And then my lips started having the blisters too, right? And this was kind of like going on over the course. It happened over the course of 2 weeks. So I'm kind of, just telling you, but know that these are like days that are passing. But I would wake up every morning, my mouth would be like glued shut with scabs. And so the blisters would like scab over and I would have to like break it, like open my mouth and break it. And it just the craziest pain. So I ended up getting better, and it ended up being, no one actually ever knew what it was. We had like 1 million doctors try, but they said it was a foreign virus. They said someone had gone to like a foreign country and come back and they weren't carrying it, but they like gave it to me. And they just said maybe my immune system is a little bit like weak or something. And that was news to me, the immune system thing, because I've always grown up an athlete. I'm the most active person I've ever met. Like that's just how I was raised. I'm so hardcore athlete. Like I'm always training everything. So I'm like, what do you mean my immune system's weak? Like, so I, kind of just brushed it off, but I was like, that was super scary. And that was the first time that I like started to deal with illness for sure. And like realize how scary that was. Cause that was never something that was like a part of my life. I was doing fine. I was excelling with friends, excelling with sports, with school. I was a perfectionist. I was getting everything done,
Did it go away, or did it always just kind of stay for a while? Did it, after the 2 weeks, did it completely heal and go away?
Totally went away. But the immune system thing freaked me out. Mm-hmm. And so that was all. During that time, I was getting I maxed out my IVs at the hydration room. They told me to stop coming back. It was so funny, but I seriously couldn't put stuff down. It was super scary.
Yeah, that is scary.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is my brother had something similar a long, long time ago. Did they say it was cold sores, or it just was a virus, but it wasn't like...
Yeah, it was just a virus because it's all inside, besides on my lips.
On your lips and all inside.
Yeah.
And so it cleared itself up, and then what?
And then, I moved on. And so I finished out that school year, sophomore year. It was totally fine. I thought we're good. And then my junior year, so tennis season, right? I'm a teenage girl. I'm 16. I am starting to feel a little bit insecure because I'm looking a little bit chubby. And also, again, with being an athlete, I'm like, this is not something that I was expecting at all. And I'm starting to feel a little bit insecure. And like my mom noticed this too. She's like, this is so weird. Like your stomach is just looking a little puffy. And she's like, it wasn't my diet or my training, because I've always been very locked in about those things. I've never gone really astray as far as my plan goes on getting to my goal, because I will say my goal is always to be a D1 athlete. That's just, my goal.
So you're like locked in with your working out and your sports and your food, because you have to fuel your workouts and your food. So to you've always just had a body type that's now changing. And
Absolutely.
You're like, what is happening?
Yes. Like, what is happening? And it's so funny because my arms and my legs are still toned. Like but it's just my stomach is puffy. And so again, oldest child, me and my mom just out there in the real world, we don't know what to do. But we're like, okay, maybe it's sugar. Like sometimes you eat a lot of sugar, and she's like, we're going to completely cut sugar this month. And I was 16. I was like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. But I'm like, what, I'll do it. Like that's great. So I cut sugar that month. Nothing changed. And it honestly got worse. And I was like, what? I haven't eaten sugar. And I'm like genuinely zero sugar, like besides fruit sugar, like no added sugars for a month. And I was like, that's crazy. She's like, okay, let's try gluten. So we're going to do no sugar, no gluten. I'm like, awesome. You're
like, I will live on celery sticks.
Oh my gosh. Literally. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, we do no sugar, no gluten. And same. it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. And I don't know, that's 2 months into that. And I was like, oh gosh, like, I wonder what's going on. Like, we're like, oh, maybe, like, I had a friend that had celiac disease. We're like, maybe that's what it is. Like, we had no idea.
Were you feeling pain in your stomach?
Mm-mm.
It was just more like puffy.
Just bloating. Yeah,
bloating.
Just total bloating.
Yeah.
And then the next month we were like, let's cut out dairy. So let's do no sugar, no gluten, no dairy. And so that was 3 months in and nothing changed. And I was like, what do we do? So you start asking around moms and everything, and they're like, oh, gut issues, and that's like super common in women for sure. I'm like, oh, that totally makes sense. Like, let's go figure out who the best doctor is, whatever. Like, let's go find a doctor. Let's get this taken care of. Like, it's not the hugest problem, but like, we don't want you to be insecure. You know what I mean? Like, and so we went and found a doctor, and he was great. So he is a functional medicine doctor. Originally, when we went into this, there was kind of a choice. You could either go into it and go like a hardcore medicine route, like pills and stuff like that. But there's also like a more natural way where you can heal your body with food and with supplements and all that kind of stuff, which would be a little bit harder, take a little bit longer. But for me, I really did value health so much in my body for my sports and just my life. And so I decided to go the more natural path just because I was kind of scared of what, medicine would do. And I don't know, especially coming off of that experience with the virus, I was like, I don't know, it just didn't work out well.
Yeah.
So we went to this doctor, and he was like, all right, so we're going to test, and we're going to see what's going on. And he just found a lot of brain inflammation, stomach inflammation, all that kind of stuff. And so it freaked me out at the beginning. I didn't know what was happening. And
did he seem to think that the virus in your mouth was connected at this point?
So that goes to the weak immune system thing. He was like, your immune system has definitely been weakened because you kind of have like a leaky gut situation, which again, so common in women. Like, and so, yeah, that's all he kind of said. He was like, yeah, I would just say it's brain and stomach inflammation, which is totally common. And like, we're going to fix this. It's going to take a minute because gut stuff is kind of complicated for anyone who ever has been through it. Like, it's a process for sure. But he's like, okay, we're going to go test you for your foods. We're going to see what is green. And if it's green, you can have it. If it's red and yellow, you can't have it. Right? Super basic. And I'm like, all right, totally fine. Like, I've been off of sugar, gluten, and dairy. Like, try me.
Wow.
Try me.
And you have a drive. It's funny because I know you a little bit more personally. You have such a drive, and you're so wired to lock in. Like, I have never met anyone like you, and it's so true. So it's just funny. You're like, yeah, okay, fine. I got this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I was like, try me. I'm seriously willing. I want this so bad for myself, just to be healthy, like, and good, and be back to feeling like my normal self. And yeah, he sent us the results back, and oh my gosh, immediately just tears. It was crazy. It only had 20 to 30 foods on this list, like altogether out of all the foods on the planet. And I'm like, what? So just to sum it up, it was obviously no sugar, no dairy, no soy, no gluten. But it was no oils. It was no seasoning. It was no sauces. It was no sugar. Like, I think I already said that, but
like, what did you end up eating?
So it was sweet potatoes and it was steak. Like, I couldn't have, and the other thing is, like, you cut out random foods. Like, I couldn't have a ton of different fruits like mangoes, watermelons. Like, I couldn't have that, but I also couldn't have chicken. Like,
wow.
Then
steak,
random.
You can't have seasoning or butter.
Exactly. So, and I can't have oil either. So it's really just like cooked very like bare.
Could you have salt?
I could have salt. That was the only one.
Okay.
And so that was a huge lifesaver, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But like no lemons, no limes, nothing like that. And so we didn't know what was going on. And me and my mom were like, oh my gosh, like, we're going to have to make this work with 20 foods. And just to give a timeline, the doctor was like, hey, 6 months. If you can do this for 6 months, you'll be okay and you'll be better. And I'm like, oh gosh. 6 months, dude. Like, I'm in high school. Like, I'm wanting to have fun. Like, my friends are going out. Like, I don't know. But I was like, I got to do it, Like, I need to get this done now, because I was thinking about my future plans. I'm like, I'm not going to be wanting to do this in college. I'm going to want to have this figured out. I honestly want to have this figured out by the summer so I can be in a bikini. Like, if I'm going to be so honest,
Yes. Yes, totally.
So me and my mom did it. So I would say I ate sweet potatoes and steak at least twice a day. And
do you ever feel like, oh, I can never eat that again? Or was it fine?
Well, I'll get further into this, but I still actually am not off of this diet.
Oh my goodness.
Which is so crazy. But
so you locked in sweet potatoes,
steak.
And then you could have like green vegetables.
No. So for whatever reason, vegetables was just really not in my wheelhouse. Later, we realized it was just fiber is not great for my gut. But yeah, the craziest thing, I couldn't even have vegetables.
Wow.
And you go and tell people that and they think, oh, you're crazy,
Totally. But when you're in your situation, you'll do anything to resolve this, right?
Absolutely. And I remember, and I was still really good friends with this friend group at this time. And I remember they wanted to go to BJ's Pizookie Tuesday. Which I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, I'm not going to let this stop me from hanging out with friends. And I went and I was just like, I'm not going to get anything. I would say a lot of people don't actually really know my story because I don't love explaining it. People just don't get it. And sometimes I say stuff and people try to relate to it and be like, oh, I'm gluten-free. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, you're not understanding, so I didn't
like
really share a lot.
Like the severity of it. Like it's actually severe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't really explain it. I was like, oh, I'm locked in. They all knew I was really into sports. And they're like, I was like, yeah, I'm just locking in, don't mind me. I'm just going to be here for the conversation. And I just watched my friends like eat these Pizookies and I was so jealous. I seriously was. And I had the hardest time because I am a sweets girl. Like I do love sweets. And I had the hardest time watching him. And I just remember going home and I was just crying and I was like, I don't know, I can't do that. I would say a majority of hangouts, you're getting food, at least at some point, or,
I would say 100% is all food.
Yeah.
In-N-Out. Let's go to In-N-Out. Let's come over and have treats, like, especially at your age.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone was just wanting to get food. So as I started to like watch this happen and watch plans and be like, oh, I probably shouldn't do that. They're going to go here. They're going to go get this food. They're going to go eat a treat. They're going to go make cookies. I'm like, oh man, I probably don't want to put myself in that position. And so slowly I kind of really started to isolate myself, unfortunately, just because I couldn't really take it. It was it's all over food, which looking back looks stupid, but it's a huge part of life for sure. And I just couldn't do it. And at the same time, I was kind of going through a little bit of a friend breakup. And so I blamed a lot of it on that because I didn't want to tell them. It made me feel weak to feel like I was like, quote, sick. I didn't feel like sick. I was seriously like excelling in my athletics. I was like, I'm not sick. Like look at me, I'm doing great, And I didn't want them to think that I was weak. And so I blamed a lot of stepping back from that friend group on the friendship breakup with this girl, which was a great cover, but also it was sad. And those were my best friends. So I kind of really did take a step back.
And you're 16, going through this health crisis and then losing your tribe. How are you feeling at this point?
I was definitely down in the dumps. And yeah, I definitely felt super alone. I would never say I lost a lot of purpose because athletics played a huge part. Not even only just in like, being athletic, doing sports, working out, but it's like that environment saved me for sure. Like being around those people and like being in a place, working out gives you dopamine, like being in a place where I was getting that dopamine for sure. And just, getting out every day. I wasn't ever in a place where I was like in my room alone for hours, like I've heard of that happening and that wasn't me. I was still living my life. I just took a step back socially. And it was funny, like you're 16, I stopped wearing like makeup out. I didn't care. I didn't care what anyone thought. I was like, I just kind of want to keep to myself. I don't want anyone to think I'm weak because that's not what I am. And so I get to this 6 months point and I'm like amping up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like I'm going to get back in the scene. I'm going to be like hanging out. I'm going to be going back out on dates. Like, because at that point I'd also stopped. Like I kind of had taken a backseat on like dates and everything.
So you were probably like getting through it, knowing at 6 months, we're going to go back to normal.
Yes. So much hope. So much hope because there was an end date. And then the next thing is I had signed up for an HXP trip in the summer. And so I was going to be cured of this, leave on HXP to Samoa 3 weeks. And for anyone that doesn't know what HXP is, it's a humanitarian trip the church puts on. You leave for 3 weeks, no phones, group of 17 kids and then 2 slightly older kids, 21-year-olds. And yeah, you just go serve a little bit not as rich area and you just help serve. Anyways, so I had this plan to go there and we're approaching the 6-week mark and this is another thing I'll say. The plan with the doctor, he's like, you're not going to see any progress until genuinely the last 2 months. There's going to be a huge rise and then the fall's going to be fast, but you're not going to see any progress until then. So I still am not seeing progress, but I'm like, it's all part of the plan. Like my doctor's got me, I'm good. he was great. And like at the same time, I'm doing neuro exercises, which are so really so funny because, you know, I'd have to stand there and have to walk in a straight line and I'd have to end up like see where I ended up, like really funny stuff.
So what are neuro exercises?
Like really just like I bought a ball and it had numbers and letters on it. And so my mom would sit there, it had a tempo thing going. So I would have something that's, you know, going at this pace and I would have to do crunches. So I would put my feet up and I would have this ball. I'd come back. My mom would throw the ball at me. I'd have to catch it. Whatever my right thumb was on, the theme would be animals, and I'd have to say the name. So D, I would say dog, and I'd say it as fast as I can. And then we would do it, and then we'd do numbers. And so whatever my left thumb is on and my right thumb is on, I'd have to add them together really quick.
Oh, wow.
But I have to do it on tempo, so I'm going back in this crunch.
Okay.
It was really intense.
So what was the purpose of that?
I still am not super sure about a lot of the stuff that I just
because you
did
have an
it for.
inflamed brain.
Exactly.
So maybe something to do with that.
Yeah,
right?
I think just sharpening up. Really, I don't know.
That's actually cool. Then you're getting
know.
crunches and mental stimulation. Come on.
I agree. I was like, this is amazing. It was so hard.
I bet.
It was one of the hardest exercises I've ever done. And again, going back to like, I'm so active, but this was like a hard thing. And my poor mother, she's just throwing this ball at me like, oh my gosh, I hope this works.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I will just say she was like definitely such an unsung hero in all of this. Like I couldn't have, especially when I was like coming back from like my friends and everything. She was not only my friend, but she was my parent. She was acting as a doctor, my nurse, like everything. I couldn't have done any of it without her for sure.
And it's like, as a mom, like I can only unveil what your mom has and is experiencing with all the things you're going through. She's going through it tenfold while watching her daughter suffer. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
she just is there having your back this whole time. Like, what a gift.
Yeah, she always talks about it. She's like, I feel like I went through it too.
She did.
Yeah,
she did.
Yeah. So yeah, I get to this summer point. So this is June, July. I get to June, there's no progress. And I'm like, dude, like, what's up? And I had sent test results in. So I just get blood work a bunch. And I was never someone who's scared of needles. No, it was no big deal. And he sends it back. He's like, it's nothing. I don't know. You gotta stay on this 6 more months. Give me 6 more months. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
What did you think when he said that?
There was a lot of crying for sure. And I was like, I don't know if I don't know if I can do it. I mean, I know I have to. I'm so far in, like, at this point, like, and when I tell you, like, this diet was so strict, I hadn't touched anything. I didn't get anything. Like, again, perfectionism. Like, I am one of the most, like, type A perfectionist people you'll ever meet. Like, and that's, it is a flaw of mine now, I realize. But it's also been a strength in a lot of ways. For
too,
sure.
Right? It can be both.
So in this section, it was for sure strength. I didn't touch anything that was even remotely close. I was eating the most clean freak, like you've never seen anything like this. Like I didn't touch anything. I didn't sneak anything. I didn't even have the desire to.
How did you feel physically on that diet?
Yeah. So it's funny because if I kind of go back and include sports in my story, it was a huge miracle. So maybe I'll talk about that for a second. I played tennis and basketball growing up, and again, I did very well. My mom was a D1 athlete. My dad was super into athletics. Like I just kind of, it was genetic, and then I just was super into it. And so I played all the sports growing up. Tennis, did amazing 3 seasons. I've never lost a match in tennis.
Oh my gosh.
All 3 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
And then in basketball, I was, I started varsity my freshman year. I was just like so into it.
Yes.
And so
it's like you have the physical ability and the mental capacity for it.
You're
sure. Built for it.
That was definitely like a huge blessing of mine. And
yeah.
like, especially coming from my parents. But yeah, I was so sure that I was going to do basketball in college. I was so sure. So I took visits to BYU, UVU, and the University of Utah as a junior. I took unofficial because I knew, how it all works with the commitment and everything. I would want to take my official one my senior year. And I kind of just like went through that process of the recruiting, and I come back and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. And I'm starting to fall out of love with the girls' basketball environment, I would say. It wasn't the environment for me. It wasn't. And I've always been super like girly girl. Like I've never and that just wasn't something that super fit into that environment. But I love the game. I love the game. So I finished it out, and then I would say that's when I felt the most the most loss of purpose in my life. I was like, I love this. I thought this is what I was gonna do. I was gonna go pay for my college this way. And I just had this thought, and my dad's whole side of the family did track, and he's like, just step on a track and run a race. in basketball, I was always known for being like super fast. Like that was like my thing. And he was like, go sprint, like go try it. How fun.
So this was your junior year and you were trying track for the first time.
I just stepped on a track in March. I turned 17, stepped on a track, and I loved it. It was immediately, I knew it was my thing. I mean, the environment's amazing. I would say it's so centered around God. And that is what immediately drew me in. I would go to these meets, and you know, basketball, it's like rivalry, and that's so fun, like the competition, but it's like you have beef with those girls. Like they hate you, you hate them, like you're pushing, you're shoving, you're pulling each other's hair. You know what I mean? Like track, I would get to these meets and I'm kind of timid and I don't know what I'm doing, but I would see these girls and they would give me a hug before we would race and they'd be like, you're so amazing. Wow. Like, you know, you're getting all this, you're so pretty, like before we race. And I'm like, wow, we're about to like, you know, like you're trying to beat me.
These are your teammates?
These are my teammates. These are random girls from other schools. Like these are just the girls in my heat. I would be in lane 4. I'd look to my right, lane 5, lane 6. They're like, good luck. Hey, what's your PR? Oh, okay. You're going to do amazing. I hope you PR. Talk to me about it at the end of the race.
Wow.
The track, for anyone who is like considering, the track environment is amazing. Like such a savior in my life for sure.
Wow.
So yeah, I started this, and you know, for anyone who doesn't make track, it doesn't make sense, but they put me immediately in the 400. That's just where they found my strength, my coaches, and you know, they were very excited. And I ran a 62 at the very beginning of the season, and I got myself down, and I'm eating so clean, and I would say that's one of the biggest blessings of all of my health struggles, was that I was eating so clean at this point that I was super fueling my body, and I was resting and everything and doing I was so locked in, so in a state of like amazing health with the choices I was making. I think it was that, and you know, obviously just God. And so it got me down to a 57-second 400, which, you know, if you don't know track, it doesn't make very much sense, but that's a D1 recruiting time.
Wow.
And I was just amazed. And I actually, funny enough, didn't know that it was a D1 recruiting time. I had won that race and I was like so excited, but I knew nothing about track. I didn't even really know how to like block start or anything.
And at this point, you're battling an illness too.
Yeah.
And getting those kind of results. Wow.
Yeah, it was the craziest time. And at that point, I didn't know that I was like, I could go to college for that. So I'll just kind of put that story on hold and I'll go into the summer. Yeah. So he's like 6 more months, you know, we'll jump back in there. He was like 6 more months. I'm like, yeah, all right, awesome. I'm like, hey, I have this trip. I'm going to pretty much a third world country. I don't know what's going to be available to eat there. Like we're eating as a group. It's going to be like catered. I don't know what to do. And he's like, you're going to have to rely on the Lord on this one. And just, I can't give you an answer. He's like, I don't know what food will be out there. And here's one last thing, Ellie, we're taking stuff off the list. Some of the stuff isn't working for you, obviously. So my list actually got smaller from where it was. I mean, we did add 2 or 3 things, but it got smaller and I was so scared. That was so scary going into that trip.
And you took the trip?
Well, yeah, I took the trip. I was so excited about it. And it was like this opportunity to like, I don't know, I love church trips. And I was like, and I'd been waiting for this like my whole life, because of growing up, you know, I've always been LDS. And I was like, this is just something we do when we're 17. So yeah, I took the trip, and you get a suitcase, you get a checked bag. And I knew I would be having to take a lot of food. And so I packed one whole side of this checked suitcase with food. And then I didn't bring as many clothes. I was like, I can make this work. Like, you know, Lord is with me. I mean, me and my mom, like, we fasted and prayed so hard. Like, so hard. We were at the temple so much. Like, just always fasting, always praying. My whole family got in on it. They were all, like, fasting, like, every other Sunday. Like, we were so ready for, like, to just have the Lord, like, take me in his hands and, like, just, like, guide me. And we pack up, and I'm ready to go, say bye to my mom. And you don't get your phones anymore. They lock up your phones, literally. So I'm like, I just tell her, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be okay. Like, I'll see you in 3 weeks. And
do you feel like you wouldn't have done it if you didn't feel right about it? It seems like you internally just kind of knew it would be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I had so much faith because of how much work we put into the fasting and the praying, and how much he had my back before, especially after the track stuff. Like, I had such a strong relationship with God. For sure. That was something I was definitely blessed with my whole life. I never had like a crazy disconnect from him, and I just always kind of trusted. And that definitely goes back to the way my parents raised me. It was just so strong and prevalent in my family. And I, as a perfectionist, also felt like I needed to be a leader to my 3 younger siblings. And so, yeah, I just had a ton of faith. And so I text her, I'm like, hey, it's going to be okay. I'll see you in 3 weeks. And like there's an Instagram, so she can kind of see on the Instagram like what's going on, but I don't get to see that, you know. So I'm like, all right, see you. Put my phone in the bag, lock it up. We're ready to go. I'm in LAX with no one I've ever met. I've never met any of these kids before. I've never met the leaders. I just go and meet them in LAX. Like, it's seriously the craziest thing. And we're going through the airport, so we fly into Fiji to go to Samoa. And we fly into Fiji, and my bag gets flagged. I'm like, oh man, you know, I got beef jerky in there. I got dried fruit. I got everything, and I got honey. I could have honey. That was my only source of sugar, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much fun.
Yeah.
Seriously, whipped honey. I would spoon. Oh my gosh. The honey thing is crazy. I would have honeycomb. I would just take bites of it, like crazy.
But with you not eating any of that sugar, your tongue changes. That probably tasted like candy. It can taste like candy if you're not eating the candy.
Oh my gosh, I could talk to you about honey all day. Seriously, yes. I love it.
Yes, you know what's
it did taste like candy.
Is I need to work on my diet. Let's just be so for real right now. However, there was a time, probably like 10 years ago, that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see what it feels like to be a vegan. For like a full year. And I homemade everything. I did not have any like white flour. I didn't have sugar. Like and so it's interesting because I would get that organic honey from like the markets where they're like, it's like legitimately almost kind of thick. You have to kind of melt it down. And I will say I can relate in a tiny, tiny way to what you're saying. It was really weird because I remember feeling like the best I've ever felt. I remember like coming out of a deep sleep and just being so clear-headed. Like I had no foggy brain. I even remember my eyeballs feeling like clear. Like it almost feels like they're like sticky. And then when you eat so good, I'm like, why? I wish I could get back. you're inspiring me. But like literally there is a physical change when you cut out all that crap. Now, my diet was not like your diet, but I can relate in a tiny minuscule way of like cutting all that crap out for a year. It's life-changing to your body. You know what I mean? Absolutely. But it's such discipline. I don't know if I could do it. But anyway, yes. I mean, that's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah, it definitely is such discipline, but it is amazing once you start feeling your body, how it responds to you. It really is like, it's grateful.
And
like,
you can feel your spirit more.
Oh yeah.
Don't you think?
Totally agree. Well, again, like what you said, like the level-headedness and like the kind of the brain fog, like clearing away. 100%. That was the closest I've ever been with the spirit for sure. So I got to this airport in Fiji. They flagged my bag and I was like, okay, what's up? They took me into this back room. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. I'm in Fiji. I don't have a phone. I'm with no one I know. And by the way, no one on this trip yet knows that I have this crazy thing going on. And like, obviously I knew I was gonna have to share that. I didn't want to have to go too into it. I was just gonna do my own thing. But they flagged me and they're like, hey, you can't take any of this. Like, what are you talking about? Like dried fruit, beef jerky, like what? You can't take any of this. And so they stripped my bag, whole half of my bag. I would say they left a few.
Were you like, this is a medical thing?
Yeah.
And they were like, sorry.
Because I didn't have a diagnosis. Because I still at that point did not have a diagnosis. Like I did not know exactly what was going on. And so they were like, no, sorry. Like you can't take fruit and you can't take like beef jerky. You can't take any of that. So I had these little honey lollipops. It's literally just honey and salt. And I just had like a few of those and that they let me take in. And so that whole side of my bag, I'm like, I'm upset because first of all, I'm so scared now. What am I going to do? And second of all, I brought half the things I could have been bringing, you know, had I had that half of the bag. And so going into that trip, when I'm supposed to be so excited, I was so freaked out.
Because now you don't have clothes or food.
And so I started making a list. I just started making a list of things that I know Samoa had that I could eat. And some of the things, there's things you don't have in America. But the first one was coconuts. I could have coconuts. And there's a million coconuts. Coconuts are fatty. I could, if I really needed to, I could live off of coconuts for 3 weeks. And I'm willing, you know? And I just kind of made that choice right there. And then I was like, I can have lychee. Is it lychee?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like I had never had these things before. And taro. And those three things, I just remember being like, no, I can have these.
Wait, is that beef taro?
Taro is
what's
like,
taro?
It's similar to potatoes.
Okay. Did you have to ask your doctor or did you just know it was fine?
For whatever reason, I didn't have my list with me. And for whatever reason, I remember seeing that. This is something I would have never eaten. No, totally the Lord's work.
You remember seeing it
and I remember
being like, oh, well, I don't have lychee and there's
taro.
No.
Yeah. And I was like, I can have lychee and taro.
And it was there?
I didn't even know that was a native Samoan food. And for whatever reason, I'm like, no, I can have that. And I felt safe about it. And I was like, okay, I have these three things. And then I was like, I can have steak and I can have salmon and I can have pork and I can have bacon. So I'm like, okay, I have those 3 animals. I have those 3 things. I can get through 3 weeks like this. Like, for sure. It's going to be hard. Like, yeah, but I can do, like, look at what I've done so far. You know what I'm saying?
What did you think of is it taro?
Taro.
And lychee. What did you like it, or was it kind of gross, or what?
Loved it.
You did?
Yes. I mean, at that point, I loved anything.
Yeah,
I seriously
right.
did. I am
You're not
seriously
picky.
now the least. I like everything.
Yes.
But yeah, I loved it. So we got on this trip, and I had to, at this point, kind of explain that I'm crazy. I'm like, hey, I'm crazy. Just putting it out there. I don't eat stuff. Like, this is so weird. I'm just going to, like, throw it out there. I don't actually know what's wrong, but for whatever reason, I just don't eat these things.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I can't make adjustments. Like, I cannot be flexible about this, and I'm sorry. Like, I felt so bad about it. But the caterer would come, and, like, I would just skip, and I would go and seriously find a coconut. Like, it sounds so funny, but I would go find a coconut, and I was so blessed with the group I was in, because these boys would go and climb these coconut trees and go get me coconuts and then crack them open for me, and I would have coconuts.
Oh,
And you can do a lot with a
gosh.
coconut. Like, you drink the milk, and then you have, like, all the little meat in it. So it actually was more filling than you would have thought. And so I was just going off of coconuts, and lychee was something you only found if, like, someone offered it to you. There wasn't, like, a place you could just go, like, get lychee. And so the way this trip worked is the first weekend we did excursions, and I was fine. And my energy was fine. And I was just eating coconuts for, like, there, because there we didn't even have the caterer, and they didn't have American food grocery stores there. So I just did coconuts 3 days.
You're so inspiring, though. Like, you have a dedication to your physical health. That's a gift. Like, that's a gift that you can overpower your natural man. Like, you have a natural ability to do that. That's a gift for you to be like, no, I've committed to this, and I'm staying committed. And then being like, oh, I still feel good. I feel like I can do this. And you did. And the fact that you were like, okay, I'm putting my trust in God. All of a sudden there's these, like, foods that were on your list that you didn't have here in the States, right? Those are the little details that I'm like, so many of us could bypass and be like, well, it's just a coincidence. It's like, no, that's actually the details. That's where God is in the details of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't believe in coincidences for
I
sure.
don't either at
Just
all.
miracles for sure. Yeah. So we come back and we start work, and we're building a classroom for these little kids in Samoa, and it's a beautiful thing, the service. But it's hard, and it's hot. It's hard and it's hot. And I was getting a little nervous because the first day on the work site, I was fine. And actually on a few of the days, like, I got salmon, and I was like, this is great. Like, protein, like, let's go. But day 2 or 3, I remember I'm working up on the roof, and I'm like feeling a little lightheaded. You know, I'm like, man, this is hard.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I just was like, I decided to go pray kind of by myself, and we were in, like, a cute little secluded spot. And I decided to go pray, and I said, hey, I need energy. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do this without energy. I want to put my full ability into this. Like, this is my strength. Like, physical, this is my strength. Like, let me build this house. Like, but let me build this classroom, please. And came back on the work site and just got to work, and I felt fine. And yeah, just same thing, just going off of coconuts and everything. And the 4th day, they made, like, committees of, like, people based on their strengths of, like, so it's like an interviewing committee, people that are great to talk to, people that are really empathetic, people that you can, like, confide in, people that are very spiritual. I was put in the hype committee. The, like, fun, like,
yes.
And I'm like, man, like, I had enough energy that they're like, oh, like, you know, like, I thought that was a huge blessing, because I was like, like, I have enough energy that it's seeming normal. And so the rest of the trip, like, that was my thing. I had to be hype. I had to be, like, 100%. I had to be going, dancing, singing. Like, that's literally my job on this trip. And I had a ton of fun with it. And so the rest of the trip, I was fine. I mean, I just seriously, coconuts, and then I would do taro covered in coconut cream, which is like a dish out there, I guess. It was so good, and I just loved it. And I honestly, like, yeah, I definitely would say I struggled. I just was crying a lot, like, on the trip. Like, at nights I would get really hungry, and then, but other than that, it was fine. And on that trip, I seriously had so many, like, spiritual experiences, and such, like, like, amazing time, like, learning about, like, charity and, like, service and, like, putting others before yourself, for sure. And it made me, like, I always kind of knew I wanted to serve a mission, but that trip is what made me be like, no, I'm gonna serve a mission. Like, this is for me. Like, I love this stuff. So yeah, I finished that trip. I came home, lost 25 pounds. Didn't even notice until I was home. And the crazy thing is, a lot of it, like, going into the trip, I was lifting very hard. Like I was putting on a lot of muscle, and I come back and I am just like skin and bones. I mean, my lifting coach, he's not a member of the church, so he was just having the hardest time understanding all this. But I was seriously like, I was so pushed back on all of my lifts, like everything. I was feeling so weak. But
so were they nervous?
Strong.
Like, were they nervous on your trip? Like, oh my gosh, you're losing a lot of weight.
Kind of. They didn't notice necessarily the weight loss, I would say, but they would see pictures of meals, and I wouldn't be in these pictures because they wouldn't take pictures of me.
Okay.
And so they were like freaking out. They like didn't know. But then I had a mom. There's a trip mom and a trip dad that come. Mm-hmm. And the trip mom, she's darling. She's such an angel. She would specifically post a picture of me with whatever I was eating, whether it was a coconut or whatever, and she would include a whole paragraph. She would she would write her little thing like, Simoa's been great, the waterfalls are cute. And then she would put a whole paragraph. She goes, for Ellie's parents, she's fine, she's finding food, she's okay, and all this stuff, which makes me so emotional because for my mom, that was gold. Like they both were so worried, and like for her to do that was absolutely amazing. And she wasn't supposed, she's not supposed to do that. Like specifically reach out to my parents. Like hundreds of people follow that Instagram account, but
like giving them a golden nugget for you.
So they totally knew it was gonna be fine. So yeah, seeing them when I came back was amazing. And then even funnier. So at that point, I should have probably explained this before, but at that point I was living in a house in San Clemente that I loved. We gutted it, built it up. Like I got to pick my room, everything. Like I love this house. I get in the car and like I'm crying, and they're like, hey, we sold the house.
While you were gone.
While I was gone. And they're like, we're going to go on a trip. We're going to come back. You have 3 days. And like, I'm a perfectionist. So they knew not to touch my stuff because I like it a specific way. And and that was my 17th or 18th time moving. And I was like,
18th time moving.
Yes. Houses. Yeah. And I was like, oh gosh, and I was in such a they caught me at a good time because I was in such a spiritually good mood that I was like, I was kind of upset, but I was like,
it's interesting because you had this contrast of coming from Samoa of like people not even having houses probably. Mm-hmm. And your mindset was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's true. You probably had just such a contrast where the thought of moving, it wasn't as jarring probably. It was still probably jarring, but not as jarring.
A little bit. But yeah, the experience in Samoa definitely humbled me for sure. And so it was the best time to tell me. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. And they always laugh about it, how they like totally blindsided me. They can't reach out to me. And it was a deal. Someone was like, I'll give you this much. And they were like, oh my gosh, yes.
Yes.
So it was the craziest thing.
Because that happens here to the homes in California. People just come do cash offers. It's crazy
stuff.
Yes.
So like, we just gave it away. And they were like,
oh my gosh.
They were just giggling. And I was like,
and that's when you moved up here by us.
Yes. So, so we actually didn't have a place that we knew we were going to stay. And my parents, they're go with the flow type of people. They're so different than me, which is so funny. I don't know how they have such a type A child. They're so type B. Like my mom, oh my gosh, she's so type B. They're like, no, we'll just do homeless summer. We've done homeless summer before.
Homeless summer?
Where you like travel around. It's so fun.
That's actually
so
fun.
Crazy. Yeah. And so like, we're going to do homeless summer. It's going to be so fun.
And you're like,
no, literally I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. And yeah, I come home and I'm getting back in the diet, getting back in the health stuff. I had to really kind of dig deep, like, put my heels in the ground, like just dig deep and locking on this health stuff. And I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to stick through 6 more months and something has got to happen, Mm-hmm. And I've just been on this whole experience. Like maybe the Lord needed me to have that experience. That was my thought. I was like, he needed me to go through that in that way. Mm-hmm. To understand his miracles and I think that was, he wanted me to understand that I needed to serve a mission. I think that was like my thought process at the time. So we do homeless summer. We travel around and we end up actually staying with the Yules. They're like lifelong friends of ours. I played soccer with Audrey growing up, and they're amazing. They're the most charitable family in the world. I love them. And they let us stay there. So
wow.
We stay in their rooms, and for whatever reason, I start getting so depressed, which is not me. I would like to say I'm very like energetic. I try to be bubbly. I try to be happy. But at the same time, I was isolated from my friends, so I really did not hang out with a lot of people that summer at all. And so I was very isolated, so I kind of just stayed at the Yule's house, which was totally fine. But I just started to get really depressed, and I started to get really insecure because my stomach was not changing. Even after I lost like all that weight and like everything and like started to build it back up like totally clean, like I was so insecure still. And it's summer now, and I'm like, what?
And it was like your stomach, was it like bloated, like a hard bloat?
Yeah, so I would wake up and I'd be totally skinny, looking normal. I would eat one thing and I seriously looked like I was pregnant. And I'm not even just saying that. Like it was like a hard shell, like pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
And no one like knew about my health issues, and I didn't want to tell people. It made me feel weak. It made me feel less. It made me feel like I wasn't doing stuff right. And it made me feel unhealthy, which is so funny because I was so healthy.
Oh yeah.
And so I didn't tell people that, but I wouldn't dare go to the beach when I looked like that. And I didn't want to explain to people that it was an illness. So I seriously just, if I was going to the beach, I just went where I knew no one would be. Or I just went like, I don't know. I didn't want to have to ever explain it to people. I was so embarrassed for whatever reason. I was just insecure. And there was one night that I was up there, I was just crying with my mom. And I was like, I feel so bad about myself, but I don't know how to fix it. I feel like nothing's working. And that was definitely where I hit like rock bottom. And I was like, nothing's working. I don't know what to do. I don't know what like the Lord wants. Like I just went through this experience. Like I thought that was it. And Andrea Yule came into the room and she's like, what's going on? Like I'm bawling, crying. Like she doesn't know what's going on. We didn't tell her. Like that's just, I also don't like to like lay my problems on other people. People have their own problems. And she's like, you know what? Like, I don't think what you're doing right now is what's actually, like, I don't think you know what's happening to your body right now. I don't think you have it. I don't think you have your finger on it. Like, I think you're doing stuff and you're being healthy, but you have an illness. This is not normal. Like, you have an illness, and I think maybe I know what's up. So her son had something very similar. So it's environmental toxicity is like the blanket word. And she's like, I think you might have something similar to this, which just basically means like it's an allergy to something in the outside world that affects you and can stay inside you and make you very sick and very much affect your brain. And so she's like, I'm gonna like give you this doctor. And this doctor, like, she is so booked and busy, but I know her and I'm just gonna call her. And like, let's just see if she has some room for you. And this is the only doctor that does this type of medicine. It's very like rare type of medicine. She's the only doctor that does this medicine, especially in this area. And we're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And so she calls this doctor and she's like, I will take her, because she knows how hard it is to like go through and not have anyone. So this doctor, she's amazing. And so that's who I'm working with actually right now. But I remember meeting with her and I, went through the entire process of retaking the test, and I felt so lost because I was like, no, I thought I figured this out. Like I already took a million tests. Like I've been taking tests. I've been doing acupuncture. I've been doing this. Like I've been doing everything. And it just felt like I was starting from zero after I'd done so much work.
Yes.
So yeah, about a year into this like diet and this like journey, I switched doctors, and we started with her, and she was like, okay, yeah, we're going to retake the food test. We're going to retake all the blood tests. And we went over all my results, and it was crazy. I just remember getting on the phone and I was like, okay, like tell me what's going on. And she was like, this is a layered case. She was like, I don't see stuff like this often. Like this is really, you have a lot going on. Like, this is going to take some work. And it still makes me so emotional, but
and it should.
Yeah.
This has been such a journey for you. Yeah. And now you're like going there today, right? Mm-hmm. Like, of course.
Yeah. But she was like, yeah, this is going to be a journey. Like, buckle up, let's go. And so, yeah, we started like more intense testing. Like, so she was like, you have environmental toxicity. I don't know what it is too. It is still in your body. We need to remove it from your body. Because that's in your body, it's causing brain inflammation, really intense brain inflammation, and your brain inflammation is causing stomach inflammation. So that's how that kind of works in basic terms. There's more stuff, and like there's stuff going on with my thyroid. Like there's just because of this mold toxicity thing. Like it wasn't something like genetic. It wasn't something I was born with. It's not something that like I was really thankful, because it's not something that like my kids will, it's not genetic. Like it's not something my kids will get. It was just something like random that happened to me. So we do more testing, and she's like, okay, it's black mold. So it's a specific type of black mold. I forget the actual word for it, but it's like, it's Bachy something like that. Mm-hmm. She's like, you have this mold in your body. So you have this thing where everyone around mold like gets sick. Like that's just like, everyone knows that. Mm-hmm. But she's like, when you're in it, it stays in your body. And it's this thing called Marcons. It stays in your sinuses. And so then it's like, it's right there with your brain. And so you get inflamed. And so she was like, because you have that, you have a thing called CIRS, which is chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And that is just your brain being super inflamed. That's you being unfocused. That's you feeling super depressed. That's all your neurotransmitters being blocked. And also the learning curve with this was like, I didn't know anything about like medical science. Like me and my mom, again, like oldest child, like we didn't know what we were doing.
No.
And she's like, okay. And she's like, because of all that, now you have gut inflammation really bad. And she's like, I like the approach you've been taking with the food thing. That's awesome. We're going to have to take a little bit of a different route. So she gave me another diet. And so this diet was different. I could have almost all my proteins. I could have almost all of my fats. But she's like, carbs, sugars, fibers, pretty much no-go. Right? So now I'm like, and at that point, fruit had been such a holy grail for me, and potatoes and everything. And I'm a competing athlete. And she's like, yeah, no carbs, no sugar. So kind of figure it out. So the other thing is I was like, gosh, like, you know, I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, no, I'm a really competitive athlete. Like I don't think I could cut out carbs and sugar. Like I have to have that. And she's like, yeah, I know. And she's like kind of explaining like how everyone, so no one else that she has, they've all had to quit their sports. They've all had to like drop out of their sports and everything. And she's like, I actually don't know how to work around this. Like she's like, I think you'll be fine. And I want you to like do it. And I think working out will be good for your body, because one of the main symptoms was fatigue. And she's like, working out actually offsets that. And it like makes it go totally opposite way. If you can work out enough, then you'll be fine. And I think that's what's gotten you to this point. And I was like, awesome. Like, I'll keep going. But she's like, yeah, but your health needs to take priority. And I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. So I was like, okay, no carbs, no sugar. Awesome. And so we kind of went on like a break off doctor from her. And that's my like doctor that I work with bi-weekly. And we start talking to him, and he's like, he gets more in depth with it. And it's stuff like we don't even know about. He's like, all right, you need to test your house for mold. There's like, if there's mold in your house, like you need to get a dog out there. He's going to go sniff the house. And if he finds anything, we're going to have to go look. He goes, also, there's EMF waves. I've learned all about EMF waves. Apparently they're everywhere. They're in your floor, your ceiling, your roof. He goes, they usually go 6 feet out. So you need to be in a place where it's 6 feet out from the walls at least. I mean, they'll still be on the floor and like
what
the
are those
ceiling.
waves? Is it from like technology? Is it Wi-Fi? That's what it is, right?
All that kind of stuff. Anything
Yes.
technological, yeah.
Okay.
And I actually don't even know. I wish I knew what that stands for. Electro something waves or frequencies. Not magnetic, microwave. I don't know. Frequencies.
Yeah, something like that.
Something, you know. I still don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I had to like really like kind of move things around, and we had to like elevate my bed, and just like it was a ton of random stuff that was like felt like such invisible progress, and like I was doing so much and not seeing any results, and I was like, oh man. And then he was like, okay, you go to St. Clemente High School. I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, okay, there's so much mold there. So I want you to go and see, and I want you to go to your classrooms and see how you feel. And at that point I had been feeling sick at school, but I didn't really process. And so over the course of the next couple months, and I hadn't been on medication yet, and I was off of medication from the other doctor. So I'm kind of in this point of like back to like kind of a more raw, like bare state. And I was feeling things more in my body. Like I could feel when things were wrong. And so I would go to my classes, and all of a sudden my vision would get blurry, and I couldn't see. I would be looking at the whiteboard, and all of a sudden I just couldn't see the whiteboard. And I was like, what? And I have 20/20 vision. Never a problem with vision. And I couldn't see the whiteboard. And then I would start feeling focused. I would get dizzy. I would be like, oh my gosh, like and I'm like, I'm not someone who hates school. Like I actually was fine with it. I did well in school. But I was like, I can't focus. I can't understand what she's saying. I don't understand this math right now. It doesn't make sense to me. I couldn't focus. I was like going home early every day. And he's like, okay, you know what? Like, you're going to have to drop out of in-person school. And for me, that was like a huge deal. I mean, I know a lot of kids want to do homeschool and stuff. But for me, that was the only social I was getting, because I was still so isolated from my friends.
Yeah.
Which was totally a choice I made, But I felt so isolated when they took me out of actual in-person school. That's the only place I was seeing my friends. And so I started online school, and I was, I didn't really know. I didn't know what my path was. I was thinking, and going back to the sports thing, I was like, you know what, I like track, like let's try it. I didn't know where I was at as far as recruiting went, but I was like, I knew I wanted to go D1 in something.
Yeah.
I wanted to play at the next level. I knew I wanted to get my school paid for sure. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to skip tennis this year, focus on my health, I'm going to start running just in case. I'm going to do basketball and see if I like it. That's probably going to be my route. And so I start going, and I get on like the supplements, and I'm going through all the stuff my senior year.
How are you feeling with the new diet? Was that a hard transition over?
Yeah, it was so hard, because I just felt, so basically it was keto. Essentially what I'm doing is very clean keto. And that's actually still what I'm doing now. So I've been on it for about however long school's been, like 9 months-ish. But yeah, it was hard competing, because I would be going and doing super hard workouts. I'd be going on a basketball court running for 2.5, 3 hours, and I would have eaten no carbs before. And that's not something, again, I did, like, especially my coaches. Like, I don't want to feel weak to anyone. I don't want to seem weak or less to anyone, but especially to my coaches and my teammates. Like, that's what I needed to be strong for. Like, I'm a leader. I'm a captain on this team. Like, I needed to be strong. And so I kind of was able to express it a little bit sometimes, especially on the days when it was bad. I was like, hey, like, you know, this happened. I can't eat carbs. Like, I got my blood drawn today. Like, I'm feeling woozy.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I just kind of tried my best, but I wasn't eating any carbs or any sugar, and I was having to do these really intense workouts, and it was feeling like pretty hopeless. And I was definitely in the keto flu phase towards the end of my basketball season.
What is the keto flu phase?
It's honestly kind of like just like the flu. Like, you just get sick.
You
but
feel
it's
like you have the flu from it.
kind of, yeah.
Is it like a detoxing?
It's more of like a belly flu, like a head and stomach, like you just ache.
And is that just part of the process of like getting like your toxins out, or what causes the flu?
Well, your energy storage is in your carbs. You burn carbs for energy. So when you transition to keto, your fat storage becomes your energy.
Okay.
So that transition.
And that's what it feels like.
Yes. So while your body is learning to transition from that, especially while being active, you get in that keto flu kind of mode. And so that was the end of my basketball season. I will back up a little bit though. At the beginning, I got my wisdom teeth out. And, you know, I'm just eating bone broth because you can't eat anything else.
No.
But that's not why I brought this up. But I got bored and I was like, I started looking up recruiting times. I was like, I saw on TikTok that some girl got recruited for a time similar to mine. I was like, what? Like, you're kidding. Why didn't no one tell me? And so I start going and I'm like looking up like D1 times to get recruited. And I'm like, I have so much time on my hands. I couldn't work out obviously when my wisdom teeth were out. I just reached out to all the colleges. Like everyone that I would be willing to go to, I just reached out to. And like, I think D2 and D3 and NIA, like all great options, just not for me. That was just not my path. Like if I was gonna not do that, I was just gonna go to BYU, live totally normal life, be normal. And so I just started reaching out to everybody and I started getting responses back. And I was like, this is the most wild thing. Why did no one tell me? I should have been doing this way earlier. I'm a senior. I'm gonna graduate. Like I was freaking out about my time. And so at that point, I started getting colleges that were reaching back out to me. I started scheduling visits. And I'm like, oh, track is my path. Like, you know what? Like, and like that was kind of when I knew I was like, track is my path for sure. And so that was during basketball though. And I was like, I got to finish this year out strong. I still love it. I still love the sport, but it's like, it's fun now. It's for fun, which is a huge blessing for me because basketball had always been pretty stressful. Like trying to like appease the pressure of like, not only myself, which was definitely the most, but like of just the people around me. Like there's some from my family for sure. Like my parents, my dad always wanted me to excel in sports and he didn't try to put pressure on me, but he expected me to be the best, obviously, because that's just how he like raised me to be. And so there's a lot of pressure there. So yeah, during this time of like the keto flu ending basketball season, I was also taking recruiting visits for track. I had a bunch scheduled. I ended up getting 7-8 official offers.
Wow. And that's
amazing.
because of your time with track, right?
Yes, just that. And it's crazy with track because it's one race. That's what's so different about basketball is it's so black and white. It's so politics. It's like, oh, she's too short, you know, whatever. Track, it's like, gosh, if you're faster than her, you get the scholarship.
Yes.
So that's what it was so black and white. I loved it. And I was like, yeah, I ran this time and they thought that was great. And so they wanted me. And I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
And I went to Weber State on my first visit and I loved it. Absolutely everything about it. I mean, there was definitely like some spiritual part of it for sure that I was like, I just felt like it was the right place. The girls were amazing. One of the first conversations I had with them was about missions. And I was like, this is just the environment I want to be in. So I committed there. So I've just put that in my like storyline timeline. So I'm committed to college. I'm online school, finished basketball season, going into track season. I'm totally feeling graduated. Like if I'm being so honest, I feel totally done.
Because like that's been like right now, right? Is track season right now?
Yeah, it's going on right now.
Okay.
So yeah, we're like pretty much to the present. And I feel like totally graduated. I'm definitely like taking a step back from my friends. I just felt like so independent and like, but with that came a lot of hard things. And so I definitely was like, as I approached track season, you know, my neurotransmitters weren't firing in all cylinders for sure. And I was getting more of like the depressed anxiety feelings. I would also say I was competing in track during basketball season. And something about me in track is I just get so anxious. For whatever reason, I get so anxious about racing. I race the 400, which is like arguably the hardest race. I think it's the hardest race. It's so hard. It's just like painful. It really is. Like
is there a strategy with the 400? Like do you, like it's not a sprint and then it's not the longest one, right? So what would you say the strategy was for the 400?
Yeah.
Or what made it difficult, do you think?
So it's one lap and it's It pretty much is a sprint. It's you get out at like at least how I do it. You get out at 100%, you cruise 95%, stay loose on the straight, and then you dig into the curve, and that's when it's just like, hey, you don't have any feeling in your body anymore.
Yeah.
And so you dig into the curve, you're trying to build up speed, and then it's 110% to the finish line.
Yep.
And that is, you don't feel your legs, you don't feel anything. My like whole mouth is pushed back. My head is to the ceiling, like my chin, like, and these are not good. Like if my coach heard this, he'd be mad because these are not good forms. But yeah. It hurts so bad. And no matter how in shape I am, no matter how much I work, it hurts every single time. All that happens is you get faster. It doesn't get easier. You just get faster. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that's life.
Yeah.
It doesn't get easy.
Gosh.
Like you still feel the same pain. You're just getting stronger in life, but you're still feeling pain. You're just getting stronger, but you're still feeling pain.
I love that.
Isn't that good?
Yes, I love that. I've never heard that before.
I'm gonna remember this because I needed to hear that. I'm like that because we always think we're like, why am I still struggling?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're getting stronger.
Yeah.
But you're getting faster at life.
Yeah.
You're getting better at life.
You're
but
progressing.
You're still.
It just doesn't get any less hard.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much.
That's so good. Thanks for that analogy.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, the 400 is just like, I just knew it was going to be painful, and it is extreme pain. Like I don't have any other way to say it. And maybe this is not everyone's experience, but for me, like I just give it everything I got every time, and it is extreme pain. And going putting yourself on a line where you're like, hey, next minute of your life is going to be just absolute, like the worst. It's going to hurt so bad, but you're going to have to do it, and you're just going to have to like power through, and like you have to win. Hey, you have to win. So it's just the hardest thing. So I would get crazy anxiety for days before races, weeks. Like if it was a big race, like weeks, months. I actually had anxiety about my league finals race this year going back to the fall. Every time I would step on a track, every time I would step on a line, I would think about it and I would get anxious because I wanted to win that race. That was my biggest goal, win that race in PR. I was anxious about it the entire year, for sure. If you asked me about it, like there was times like November, December, I would be with my mom. I would just be crying and I'd say, hey, I don't want to do it. I love it, but I don't want to do it. I hate how it makes me feel. I do. I love how it makes me feel after, but it is genuinely so hard. And so at the end of basketball season, I started competing, and so the anxiety started to pick up for sure. And that was something I had without the like neurotransmitters being all off. And so going into this track season, I was so anxious. And that's also something I don't want to let people know because this is my biggest strength. Like I'm a D1 athlete at this event. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why am I nervous? Like I'm committed. Like it made me feel really insecure again, weak again. Like, and these are just not feelings.
But I love that you're sharing that because it's like, isn't that interesting? We all are. We're all insecure. We all feel weak, especially when we're in our craft, even when we're in our genius or craft or the things we're good at. Like that is such a human experience. And so for you, it's like saying that out loud, like I was insecure or whatever, like going into something that you're so good at. Well, guess what? Insecurity is just part of it for all of us all the time, right?
Absolutely.
It's something we all have to battle. But like you wanted to do good. There was some pressure. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense that you were anxious.
Yeah. And I would say a lot of like life is having imposter syndrome that nobody else could see.
Yeah.
Like for sure that for me, I had imposter syndrome. I'm like, I just started less than a year ago. I committed to this college 9 months into even trying this. Like I'm not like these other girls. I see these other girls, they have all the gear, they're ready, they have their routines, they're doing all this stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a routine. I felt so out of place in a place that was my place, which is so funny. And I think I do think that applies to a lot of places. I think that applies a lot to the church as well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You could place that in all areas of your life. Like anytime you're pushing forward, I just think you have to work against the adversary. Like you want to progress spiritually, physically, athletically, you name it. You want to progress, you've got to push through the voices. You've got to push through your inner critic or even the adversary. You know what I mean? Like, because you're going in the right way. Like you are progressing in a way and on a path you felt right about. So you're going to get the pushback before you actually do it. And a lot of people will buy into that and be like, well, yeah, you're right. See, I'm not enough. See, they're right. Where you are like, you know what? Okay, I feel this way. And also I'm going up to the starting line.
Yeah. I mean, there's for sure some days where I'm like, I can't, you know, I would definitely say that none of it was a perfect process. And I definitely felt like I couldn't sometimes. And yeah, I can't even express how bad it would be. At the beginning, I just cried every night because I just knew, and I had so much pressure on myself to like do this because I'm like, but I know I can, but it's so hard. And also at this point, I'm not eating carbs and sugar, and that is like anyone who races, anyone who's in track, you carb load the night before, you eat carbs. Like, you have to be feeling yourself in that. Like, I was feeling myself in the right way of like health wise, clean wise. But as far as carbs, fats, sugars, I've learned a lot about that. I would say my senior year is like the actual like nutritional, how it all works in your body and what purposes it all serves. And so at that point, not eating carbs and sugars scared me because I'm like, is this going to hold me back? Like, I don't know. And I definitely started slow. And yeah, I didn't know really what was going on. So I actually ran 60 seconds. So everyone like was predicting my times. You know, I'd be running a workout and they'd be like, we're going to do a simulation. And they'd be like, oh, 58. You ran a 58. That's awesome. That's our starting point. And so I go to this first race. I run a 60. I run a minute. I haven't run not sub minute in forever. I'm like, that girl who did that didn't even know how to run. Like, I know how to run now. Like, I've been training for a year.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I was like really feeling kind of like down in the dumps about it. But I had a great coach who like was like, no, it's normal. You're fine. And like, you're on a different path than everyone else. And hey, if you don't do well, you are struggling so much with your health right now. You're going through such hard things. You're not eating carbs. Ellie, you're not eating carbs. Like, I don't, like, I couldn't even take like pre-race sugar, pre-race whatever, or like even only runners will know this, but like bicarb and stuff like that, like couldn't have any of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I just started slowly to progress, but I was like in this 59 range and like a lot of races like that. So another thing I'll say about track is you only have so many 400s in you. Like, if you're running 100, you can run 1,000,000 100s. 400s, because it's so intense on the body, you only have so many in you. I don't know what the exact number is. I wouldn't say more than 10 to 15. Like, you can only do it so many times.
Meaning like through the season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can only be in that shape for so long. Then you start to go back up. Then your body can't take it anymore.
Okay.
I was at 57.69. That was like my PR. And then my 200 PR was 25.73. And those are how I ended my junior year. And so going into, my senior year, I actually did fine in the 200, the 100. I was obviously faster, stronger because I've been training. Like, I knew that. And it wasn't as much of an endurance race. And so I was PRing in both of those races. I actually didn't even run in 100 until this year. I only ran 2. I ran the first one at 12.8 and then the next one at 12.54. And that's my PR currently with the 100. I haven't ran it since. The 200, I was PRing actually like frequently, like every single race almost. I got down to, I'm at 25.5 now. I have one more race. Well, if I move on, then more.
Yeah.
But so that was my PR with that, and I felt fine about that. But this 400 is like that's my heart. Like, that's what I care about, and that's like what would make me prove to myself that I can overcome this illness and overcome the hard things that I was going through to get to this point. And again, it's just hard because like really at the end of the day, only me and my mom really knew. I mean, my family knew, my grandparents knew, my dad, my siblings, they knew, but me and my mom were like so in the thick of it. We knew everything. And I'll even like jump back a second. Like, we tried everything at the very beginning. Like, I did hypnotherapy, craziest thing, on Zoom. Some guy hypnotized me over Zoom.
Did it work?
Yes. Crazy experience. That's a whole nother story, but crazy experience.
Did it change you?
No, not really, but it was super spiritual because I had a grandma that passed away and I didn't know that her birthday was that day. It was a great grandma and I didn't know that her birthday was that day. But for whatever reason, when I was hypnotized, I had said that I wanted to be with her and that I was with her and it was her birthday. I had no idea in real life. Wow. They asked me after, I had no idea.
That's incredible.
So super spiritual experiences, but
yes.
I just say it to say like I did acupuncture for so long. I did like hypnotherapy. I did spiritual healing. Like, there's just so much that we tried. So, coming back to the present day, like, she's been with me through everything, every part of it. Yeah, so I was approaching league finals, freaking out, and I had a few more races before then, and I ran a 58, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm back, like, yes, oh my gosh. But I'm still a little nervous because that's not my PR. And I'm like, if I leave this season without a PR, I know I'll be so disappointed in myself, no matter what I say, no matter if I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, you're going through something, you'll be fine. Like, you're going to come back in college strong. I just knew I would be so disappointed in myself, but I couldn't admit it. I wouldn't say it out loud because if it didn't happen, I didn't want to have to like be sad. I wanted,
Can colleges take your PR from your junior year, or do you have to do a new PR in your senior year?
No, so they took my PR for my junior. That was good enough for them.
Okay.
There is like parts of the scholarship that's like incentive if you can reach this point.
Okay. Like, they'll pay for food, they'll pay for this, they'll pay for that. Okay.
Yeah. Especially with the money in college now. It's so crazy. Yeah, so they were like, my deal with Weber was if I could run consistent 56s, which is like, at this point in my life, I'm like, hey, I'm just not in the physical space to be doing that. Like, that's something I'll get. That is like moving really into like elite levels. Like, to take a second off of that would be taking a second off of my 400 time, and that is like so much more than you think it is. It's so much. And so I kind of accepted that just wasn't for me. And then and so halfway through the season, I was, going through all this, feeling all the anxiety, feeling all the depression. I think the isolation, I think being on the illness and the sickness and everything, it all kind of escalated, and it was just not a great space. And I had a birthday trip planned to Vegas, my 18th. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, like dreaming of this, right? And we're going to we're going to go see Luke Combs. He's my favorite. I've been waiting my whole life to see him. I'm so excited. And it's like his first opening tour. It's on my birthday. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I am about to leave for this trip. And all of a sudden I have these huge, they look like bug bites all over my legs. I had been laying out that day, like just tanning. And I come back inside and I have these huge bug bites. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not usually bug bite prone, And I was like, okay. And then I wake up the next morning and they're in lines. These huge, like raised lines of like, they look like bug bites, huge bumps. And then they started to cluster, and I have these huge clusters of like massive, like very obnoxious hives all over my legs. And then it starts going up on my stomach. I get some on my back, some on my chest, everywhere. I got some on my arms. What's happening? I'm not allergic to, I know I'm allergic to the mold, but this is not the reaction it causes. I'm not allergic to anything else besides like some random medicine, but I've not taken it, I'm like, what is happening? And it's just the day before my huge birthday trip that I'm just so excited to take. And I am like broken out in hives. And I was like, what? Like, I don't understand. And I called my doctor before. He's great. They're very on top of it with me. Mm-hmm. I would definitely give them like a huge shout out for that. But he's like, hey, did you take your binder? Which is like a supplement I take. So how my medicine works in simple terms is I take something that kills bacteria from my gut, and then I take something that takes that bacteria away and out of my body without it coming out by itself. Because like sometimes that can be like cystic acne, like it just tries to come out by itself. And I've had that before. Okay. Nothing bad, but So
you didn't take that binding
I forgot
one.
to take the binder.
Oh
and so my body was like, no, we're getting rid of it. Like it's dead. We got to get it out. And so for whatever reason, it came out in hives, which is like so funny because the medicine is strong. It is strong because it needs to kill this stuff. And I would think a lot of people would relate to that sometimes the medicine is harder on your body than the actual illness is, it feels like.
Yeah.
And so that was definitely the scenario. And so I broke out in total hives, and I was like, what? Like and
You're
so
like, not now. Like, could this timing be any worse?
No, and I was gonna go take all these pictures, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So I go on my birthday trip. I end up making work, and also it's like itchy. Like I can't go to sleep, so I haven't slept in like 3 days, and I'm being so genuine about that. Like I sleep for like 30 minutes over my entire birthday weekend. It's so awful. Oh. And like my poor mom, she's like, I don't know what to do. Like I don't know. I'm gonna go to bed because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I would just rub this itching cream, but like anyways. So that experience, and that I feel like that was another experience that was kind of similar to the mouth thing. I'm like, what?
Yes.
So I come home and I'm talking to my doctor. We're trying to figure it out. It's clearing up. I'm fine. I'm fine. I was just upset that like the timing of it.
Yeah.
And I got off the phone and I just kind of had this thought, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am dying to serve a mission. I don't know why. Like my plan was to serve. I told everyone this. My plan was to serve after a year of running at Weber. I was like, I leave right after my track season. I'll come back. I'll make it in time to prepare and train again. It's a perfect plan. It was the perfect plan.
Don't you think we always have the perfect plan, and it never works out that way?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is I was on a walk and I had that thought. I said, I was so happy and I was so proud of myself. And I was like, look at this little plan I have. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I'm gonna have the best time. And then I just like, this like little creeping thought was like, no. Like, what are you saying? You don't have plans. Like, I know what's going on, and that's not what's going to happen. Like, something's going to change. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea it was the mission. And that was before I had this breakout on my legs. And so I just started having these thoughts by myself, like, I need to serve a mission. Like, I don't know. But my doctor had very clearly stated to me that I would not be physically able to leave my house or like leave the like wherever I was going to go without like, because like in college I'd have, my coaches, they would be super helpful. I would not be able to leave on a mission with the state I was in, with the health, the supplements, with the exercises I was having to do, with like the diet, especially the diet. It always comes back to the diet. But for whatever reason, I was like, no, like this, it's the time. I don't know why. And that was for sure one of the most spiritual experiences in my life. And I'll back up again. I kind of skipped over this, but at the beginning of my senior year, when I was having like the original anxiety, I just started going to the temple by myself, which I'm not someone who does a lot of stuff by myself because of how isolated I already was. I like being around people. But I just started going back to temple by myself, and there was one day that I prayed, and I felt hopeless about the health situation. 'Cause I just felt not normal. I felt like everyone else was healthy. I mean, that's obviously not true. You know, everyone portrays, and everyone thought I was healthy. So,
and everyone looks happy, and everyone looks like they have their lives together, and everyone looks like shiny and new. And also everyone's suffering and struggling with something.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's the whole point of being here, is to struggle through it so we can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, you know, you just don't see that, and you just think everyone's lives are perfect.
Especially when you're on a low point. It makes it feels like you're even more alone. Like
Absolutely.
nobody can understand.
Absolutely.
And nobody else is going through it.
My closest person was my mom, and she was fine. And I was like, gosh, why am I not like my mom? I love my mom. She's perfect. Why am I not?
She is perfect.
She is perfect, isn't she? Oh my gosh.
Her. And you look so much like her. I'm like talking to you. I feel like I'm talking to your mom.
Compliment.
I love your mom.
Oh, she's the best. But yeah, I went to the temple alone that time, and that was like definitely one of the most spiritual experiences of my life. Was I just sat in my car. I didn't even go in. I just sat in my car, read my scriptures, and I just prayed. And I was like, hey, I feel so hopeless. Like, give me some strength. And, you know, as I've told my story, you've kind of seen that. So yeah, I got to this point where I'm like, yeah, I need to start a mission. So I call my doctor, and I'm ready for her to be like, no, you silly goose, no, like, you're not going anywhere. Like, we're gonna fix you up right here. Because, you know, she's kind of funny, and she would be straight up with me. She's not gonna sugarcoat anything. And I called her, and she's like, let's do it. So she's LDS. I should probably say that. She's like, let's do it. And I'm like, what? Are you sure? Like, I'm like so excited, but I'm like, are you sure? Like, doctor, like, are you sure? And I, you know, just automatic tears. And I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, we could get you better by September. I know we can. And I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, and you know, it was definitely a spiritual experience. I don't know, probably was for her too, but she's like, power of the Lord. And like, you are working so hard at this, and you've done so much. Like, I think you'll be fine. And like, she's like, you've locked in like so much, like more than anyone. Like, you haven't even strayed a single second. You haven't taken a single bite of anything you weren't, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah. She's like, you can do it. I feel like you're ready. So I was like, oh my gosh. And like, I was prepared to make the decision on the spot. Like, put in my papers now. Like let's go meet with the bishop. But I took a few days. I went to the temple. I went to the San Diego temple. Never been before. And it's not open. I just went and sat outside, but it's so pretty. And I just thought about it, made a pros and cons list. And I made this whole list, and I was expecting there to be a lot more cons. I was being very honest. And the only thing on the cons was like, you might lose your scholarship. Because, you know, my coaches at Weber, they're not Mormon, and it's not BYU. And the cons were, you might lose your scholarship, and that was it. And that freaked me out.
Of course.
I had worked so hard for that.
You've been working towards that.
Yeah, I'd worked, especially like isolating myself and like focusing and giving all of my effort to that. That had been my little baby that I'd put everything into that. So I was so nervous. And so that was something that like really was hard for me to get over, but I really felt like I should serve this mission. And I just kept praying about it, fasted, prayed, all the stuff again, which I highly recommend. It's, it works wonders, seriously. It just clears up your mind. And I don't, you know what, like, I'm going to call my coaches tomorrow, like, but I've made this decision. I'm going on this mission. And I even met with the bishop before. Like, I was like, I'm 100%, I'm committed to this mission. And I hadn't called my coaches yet, and I was freaking out. And I was like, you know what, let's just do it. So I called her. And by the way, like, I love my coaches. Like, they made me fall in love with the school more than anyone else. They're amazing, but they're not LDS. And so you can't expect them to understand that. And I called her, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go serve a mission for my church. It's 18 months. I would be, I'm going to try to work out, but that's not the point of the mission. The point of the mission is to serve. And I don't know where I'm going. I could be in Africa. I could be anywhere. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to make it to Weber Fall this year. I would love more than anything to run for you guys. I understand if you have to remove the scholarship because there is spots I know you need to fill. But I would love if you would let me come back in fall of 2028, and I would be ready. And she's like giggling. She's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
You're like, wait, what?
I'm like, what? So all these phone calls are just like, what? And she's so nice. And I love her to death. And this is why I love her to death, because she's so understanding. Both of my coaches, the head coach and the sprinting coach. And she was like, of course. She's like, what are you even talking? Of course, we love you. And I was, and I can't like cry on the phone because keep it together, And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like looking at my mom. She's in the doorway of my room, and I'm like walking in circles, and I'm like freaking out. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the Lord has a plan. He does. And it was more apparent then than ever. I mean, I had known that, but more than ever then I was like, oh my gosh, he has a plan. Like, I made that decision. I committed to him, not knowing what what else would happen. But he was like, no, like you earned that. You would still have that. And so that was a huge testimony builder for me. And that was literally last month. So, it's all still very fresh. And so I went and did my bishop meeting. I got my papers in probably a week, and I was like nervous. Like even my bishop was like maybe a little bit upset with me, but I was like, no, get these in. I'm so excited, like just absolutely bursting at the seams. And I put them in. 9 days later, super fast call, got my call. I'm going to Cheyenne, Wyoming, English speaking.
Oh my goodness.
And
so exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about it. I mean, it's not at all what I expected. I thought he's put me through so many hard things. He's going to send me to Africa and be like, hey, you've already done
Yes.
No, but he's sending me to like a place that's like,
and somewhere
so
that
good.
you can accommodate the food, somewhere that you can actually like,
yes,
like a resting place, also a working place. But with everything you've been through, it's going to feel like a resting place that you are going to go do, God's work.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, my parents can like Amazon Prime me, DoorDash.
Yes,
like it's not, it
Mm-hmm.
was such a comfort. And as I looked more into it, it's actually super close to Weber. Like Ogden's on the mission map. I mean, it's not in the mission, but it's like on the mission map, which is so funny. But I felt really good about it immediately. Obviously, this is what I'm supposed to do. I like looked at my mission parents because I knew that was like I'd been praying for them because my grandparents had mission presidents. And they're like, that's the most important thing is who you are like called and like assigned under like your mission parents.
Yeah.
And so I go and look and he's a doctor. I was like, oh my gosh, like even if like, and he's not a functional medicine doctor. I think he's an ER doctor, but just anyone in a medical field that can understand illness and understand that I'm going to need, still on my mission, I'll need some accommodations. I can't live in a place with mold. That's the only thing that I'll have.
And I feel like that's a pretty dry area, right? Montana's dry.
So high altitude, it's so dry.
Yeah.
It's so windy, which
That's so
is
good.
also a huge blessing. I mean, Andrea Yule was at my opening and she was like, you just saw like in the video, you can see her get on her phone immediately, look it up. And she was stoked. She was so excited about the place because it's perfect. And then having him as someone who's going to be able to understand. And I actually was able to like FaceTime them. They were so sweet about it, so understanding. Anyways, they're just perfect and the mission's perfect and everything. And I was like, it was seriously so like clarifying of like, yeah, this is my plan. Like this is, and it really let up a lot of the anxiety and a lot of the stuff like as I'm mid track season. That was a huge blessing, but like biggest blessing in my life, biggest miracle in my life that I was given the medical clearance to be able to serve a mission for sure.
Yeah.
So I finished out like most of my track seasons, like a league. And I started dropping my time. So I ran a 58 and then I ran a 57 at like this huge meet. It's like OC champs or whatever. I ran a 57 there, took second place overall, feeling so good. Actually, a girl in my league beat me in that race. It's just everybody. Like it has everyone in all of Southern California in that race. But a girl in my league beat me. And I'm like, man, like I have competition. She beat me by 0.2 of a second.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is gonna be so fun. But also that gave me a ton of anxiety because I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be the best. Like I'm supposed to win. And so it gave me a ton of anxiety again. And I had league finals and I was just the headspace. It was so scary the whole week. I was just absolutely peeing my pants. Like I just was so scared. I couldn't talk to anyone. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. Nothing. The day of, I was like, distract me. Do not let me think about it. Like, and I had done so much prep. I had prepared so well, just trusting that the Lord would give me some spiritual carbs, just some spiritual carbs at the end of the day. And I ran that race and I won. And it was the most incredible feeling. And I PR'd and I dropped into the 56s.
You're in the 56s now.
Yeah. I ran 56.81.
Oh, and my gosh.
Like it doesn't seem like so much, but I had been stressed about that race since November. That race, league race since November. So to be able to overcome what I went through this year, to like make that decision to commit to college, like all that things happened in that time that I was nervous about this. And so to run that race was like insane for me. And I probably so excited. It was literally like last Friday.
And so, think of everything that's stacked up against you. Your health, your food, your anxiety, your depression, your whatever, like all these things are stacked up and still you're like, and I'm doing it. Like, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't let those things stop you. You don't let those things stop you. Like, because you feel right about it, right? Now, there's some people that have medical conditions and they feel like they should stop something. Mm-hmm. I'm saying absolutely. In general in life, like you are going to have things stacked up against you. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to do. You're going to have things stacked up against you and you do it anyway. You could have been like, I don't have carbs, so I can't. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. And I would say I'm not perfect. Like I was in a place where I was like, I don't have carbs. I can't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the only reason, and I'd say this genuinely, not even as someone who's like going on mission is just feeling so spiritual, but I couldn't have done it without the Lord. Seriously. Like I actually the week of that race, I went to the temple three times that week. I'd been going 4 times because it's just the only place I felt peace and like didn't feel the anxiety, but he was with me in that race. And there's this quote, my mom, she has it pinned in my room. It says, Jesus is the only answer, run to him. And so the idea was that I was going as fast as I can to get to him. And I was like, run with me, you know? That was my thought going into the race. It was definitely super, like even stepping on the line, I just felt spiritual, and honestly, I felt calm, which never happens. I am so anxiety when I'm stepping on the line, getting in the blocks, like being in the blocks, absolutely crazy. But I felt peace and I felt quiet, honestly. So much like noise. I just
with
felt
the
quiet.
race that you just won.
The race that I just won, the like my best race.
Wow.
And I felt relaxed and I felt strong the entire race, and it hurt. Like it's never not gonna hurt, but yeah, I felt strong throughout the entire thing, and I felt fast, and like to be able to win, and oh my gosh, it was just absolutely amazing.
Like what a cherry on the top of your whole story. What would you say to your sophomore self? If you could talk to your sophomore self, like when she was blistered and going through it in her dark times, like what would you tell her?
Oh, I would just say nothing is at, like 100% my biggest takeaway from high school is nothing is as you plan it. Nothing. I would have never expected in my life. As a sophomore, I didn't even know I was doing track, and it became this like huge part of my life. I would just tell her like, you just need to walk with the Lord. There's not anything I can say that's like, this will make it better. The only thing I can say is do it with someone, do it with the Lord. Like keep him in your life. Especially when I was isolating myself, I feel like maybe there were like maybe a little disconnect, like a not so a little farther relationship as I was in that point, because I just felt so disconnected from everyone. But as my senior year, my personal relationship with God and with Jesus and with like the Holy Ghost, like insane. And like, I would say that it is so important to lean into that, because there'll be cool things that'll happen. You'll like accomplish stuff. Like if you put your head down, you can accomplish anything, seriously. But you cannot do what your biggest goals are without God. It's just so blatant to me. And it's so funny to like how I didn't see that exactly the way I see it now. But after going through what I've been through with my health and with all that kind of stuff and with the race anxiety, yeah, he's with you, and there's no such thing as coincidence. Like it's all miracles. And I would say that was like a big part of my why I want to serve a mission. Like my when, the timeline makes sense. But as for why I want to serve a mission, the miracles I've seen in my life and like the way that you can overcome things and everything, and the way I've seen other people do it, and like even the things I've seen in my family, and like just like even like the things like my mom goes through and my dad, like I've seen so many miracles, and thinking that people don't know that and don't know that the Lord like has his hand on your shoulder and can walk with you. The people that feel like lonely and feel like they can't walk with God, or people that feel hopeless, people that lost someone, or feel like they'll never get to where they were, or feel like they'll never progress. Like I am so excited to teach those people that there is literally an answer. It's Jesus. Like run to him, like that's my favorite. It's my favorite quote. So just to teach people to run to him, and that you'll find answers there, and that you can have the Spirit and feel not alone.
I love that, because there are listeners that feel alone, that feel hopeless, that feel like they are going through it by themselves, right? And might not be feeling the presence of God with them. And I love that, because you can see behind you. It's just like hindsight's such 20/20 vision. All of this is just working out to your good. Like all of your pain, all of the struggle, all of the trial, all of this. Like, and I love that listeners can listen to this conversation. Like you're giving me, 5 years of information within an hour's time. And when you condense it, you can see it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, here we are, and we're going up and down, and we're this, and it's all been preparation for you to get to this point. Yeah. And same, like as you keep progressing in life, it's all preparation for something bigger and better. And like walking with God is the only way. Like,
absolutely.
Because it's like, he's really the only one that knows your plan and knows your path. That's it. Like not your parents, not even like you, right? To some degree. Like, So I love that. I love that you've just leaned in, and you're going to make such an amazing missionary because you've been through it.
Thank you.
And you're going to see the struggles of people around you and the empathy and compassion you're going to be having, because you know what isolation feels like. You know what depression feels like. You know what it feels like to feel hopeless. Like, that's relatable to everyone.
Absolutely. And I think I went through those things for the purpose of serving my mission. At least I hope he doesn't have more for me after, I mean, I always wish to serve, but to add on to your trials thing, I would say planning is so silly because you can't plan for your trials. You don't know what's going to happen. Bad things are going to happen to everybody. You don't know when. I've had friends that have had such bad things. You can't plan for it, especially illness. Like, you cannot plan for it. So it is just working around it. And I love what you said about that. So I just wanted to add that on.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
Yeah, it creates, just when you go through things, it creates so much compassion, and it makes you a better person. So while it might not seem so fun, or it gives you so much insight into other people and makes you more relatable. And that's the whole point of being on this earth is to help others and serve others and bring everybody together under God. That's his whole purpose on this planet. And so to go through hard things for anyone, any hard things, there's so many. It's just going to build you up and make you stronger if you will accept it and work with it and work with him with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life and trials are either going to make you better or bitter. And you can choose. That's the gift of our free agency. It's like, what do you want this horrendous thing to do for you? Do you want it, Christ to help alchemize it into wisdom? Or do you want to just be bitter about it? And I know I'm not like trying to be flippant about that, because we're all going through really hard things, and there's people going through really, really hard things. But I believe that it's all working out for our good. So let it work out for your good.
Absolutely.
Let wisdom come from this horrible thing, right?
Yeah. And I would say one of my favorite quotes is choose your hard. It's going to be hard either way. And this is something me and my mom always talk about. She's like, if you don't give it your all, it's going to hurt. And if you give it your all, it's going to hurt. So give it your all. Like, it would be so silly to not give it your all if it's going to hurt either way.
And we all think that one's not going to hurt and one is. I think we all kind of come from this like black and white thinking, like, oh, but when you really break it down,
it's all going to hurt.
It's painful to make a good choice, and it's painful to make a wrong choice.
Absolutely.
Like, it's all painful. Like, you know what I mean? To some degree.
It's painful to study, but it's also painful to have the bad grades. You know what I mean? You can choose an active or you can choose a passive path. And my advice is to choose the active one. I think you can be passive about some things, but to choose the active one, because that's where you're going to start working with Heavenly Father and Jesus and everybody.
Well, I love getting to know you, and I love your natural essence to the world is very, very leadership, very strong, I love it. You just like movement. You are, and I feel like you've leaned into all those natural gifts, and I just can't wait to see what you do next.
Oh, thank you.
You're just so amazing. And thank you for coming on today and being with me. And we're cozied up on blankets in the living room.
So much fun in here.
Like
for anyone who hasn't done it yet, it's so fun.
It is, isn't it?
I appreciate it so much. Thank you for asking me. I love sharing my story, especially going into my mission. I think I told you this, but I'm so excited to start sharing and start helping others. And so thank you so much for inviting me. I love being here.
Well, you're very welcome. And thank you, listeners, for being with us today. And we'll be back.